Look at this article in the Telegraph following John McDonnell's speech to the Labour Party conference yesterday. Labour's plans for economy are pure fantasy. Business leaders branded Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell an interventionist and accusing him of taking a pure fantasy approach to the UK economy, after he told the Labour Party conference he would review the entire tax system. In a wide-ranging speech that singled out multinationals including Google and Starbucks for not paying what he said was their fair share in tax, Mr. McDonnell said Labour could call for a 60% higher rate of income tax. Just look at the language used in that article. Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell is branded an interventionist. Well, isn't all government interventionists when it comes to the tax system? Isn't that what they're there to do? They intervene in our lives and steal our money? This article goes on to discuss tax avoidance with Vodafone, the giant telecoms company, saying that they did not take kindly to being branded a tax avoider, along with the likes of Starbucks and a number of technology giants. It is disappointing that this has been raised again, said a Vodafone spokesman. There was no truth in the allegations in the past, and there are none now. I'm guessing that this arrogant spokesman for Vodafone, whoever the hell he is, the article doesn't say, forgot that the Treasury let Vodafone off £6 billion in tax 5 years ago. So he didn't take kindly for Vodafone being branded a tax avoider. That's because they didn't avoid tax, they just refused to pay it. So I guess they should be branded taxpayer refusers. May I remind everyone at this point that the first thing George Osborne did when he became our cocaine chancellor was to let the banks off £19 billion in future taxes, whilst introducing austerity on everybody else. And remember, this was after the taxpayer had already bailed out the banks for, some reports say, over £1 trillion. Dave Hartnett, who worked for the Treasury and agreed the sweetheart deal with Vodafone to be let off £6 billion in tax, also did nothing when he heard about HSBC helping people avoid tax. And when he left the government, he went to work for none other than HSBC. You see, it's jobs for the boys at the moment. Our society is collapsing and needs investment, but the very companies that are making millions, often billions in the UK, do not pay a bloody ounce of tax. It's crony capitalism. It isn't capitalism. Pay the right man a small amount of money and you'll be let off billions. It's disgraceful. And people, I hope, are finally finding out that this is the way Tories run things. Is it really pure fantasy to ask the biggest companies in the country to pay what they are due to pay under our tax laws for operating in our country? Is it honestly too much to ask? It has been too much to ask for the Tories, because most of these companies are Tory donors, and they donate to the Conservatives because they get the type of sweetheart deals that Vodafone got when it comes to big tax bills. The argument that you get is that if you tax a company too much, they will simply up sticks and leave the UK. No, they won't. Most of these companies make billions from the UK. Why would they leave the country if, say, they made only £4 billion a year instead of £6? They wouldn't leave, they would carry on regardless. £4 billion is a hell of a lot of money. And it's the difference in this country to the poor people of them dying from starvation or being able to get food. Or maybe some of the 9,000 homeless ex-servicemen in the UK may be able to have a roof over their head. We have to remember that companies like Starbucks, Google, Amazon and Vodafone will soon be introducing robots into their workforce, making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people redundant. Where's the money going to come to pay their benefits then? Imagine these companies throw these people out on the streets and still refuse to pay the tax on now even more money they're making because they don't have salaries to pay anymore. It has to stop at some point. We cannot continue with the rich getting away with murder and the poor being killed off. And fair play to John McDonnell and Jeremy Corbyn for saying that they are going to go after these companies. It just isn't fair. It's not capitalism. It's crony capitalism. Our whole tax system is set up for big companies to get even bigger and pay less tax and the small guy to be eaten. Literally. I bet you if these multinational companies paid their fair share of tax, then corporation, instead of going up from 18%, I bet it would be able to come down to something like, 10%, making it fairer for everybody, because there would be more money coming in via taxes. I mean, look at Vodafone. They're 6 billion. That's 3/4 of what's needed to fund the NHS over the next 5 years. We have to ask ourselves some grown-up, serious questions in this country. What do we want to do? What do we value more? What do we think's more important? The share price of a telecoms company that's been rising over the last few years because it's cheated the UK taxpayer out of £6 billion? Or the health service being paid for the next 4 years? What's more important? Jeremy Corbyn says his policies have come from British values. Well, fair play to him. I'm struggling to find out what exactly British values stand for anymore. We've forgotten what British values are. We seem to hold up British values and throw them at anybody who'll want to look at them and tell the world how moral, upstanding and caring we are when there's a tragedy elsewhere in the world. But British values towards our fellow British citizen seem to be a dog-eat-dog world where the rich stamp on everyone to get what they want and the Tories pave the way for them to do it. And if you disagree with the rich gobbling everything up, regardless of what this means for everybody else in society, then you're now appearing to be un-British. We're a disgusting people at the moment. Truly disgusting. We've got some serious adult thinking to do. Is this the kind of world we want to leave our children? Do we really want our kids to grow up knowing that they can't go anywhere near an MP through fear of being raped? And knowing that the rich get richer and walk all over everybody else with government support, whilst the poorest pay for it all and die trying to survive. This is the issue. We have a tax system set up for people who are reporting on how fair or unfair the tax system actually is. A lot of these people reporting on Jeremy Corbyn's plans to tax people who earn over 150k at 60%, earn over 150k, so they don't want this policy to be introduced. Our media is so dumbed down that Jeremy Corbyn is even having to say that he loves his country. Just because he didn't want to sing a song that's about a woman and not a country, it's about a woman who happens to be German, is a hereditary dictator who saluted Hitler in a youth and steals millions from the taxpayer every year. Why would he sing a song to that wench? And he's also having to say that he loves his country because he wants big business who operate in the UK to pay their fair share of tax, which some people call pure fantasy. Unbelievable. We've got everything upside down. Come on, people. Let's shake people awake.